Chef Anthony Bourdain once said, "Good food is very often, even most often, simple food." And our guest today believes in this philosophy too. Over the last few decades, she found her way to sustainable ways of cooking and is now influencing the world with her brilliant ideas. And if you're wondering how, you need to see her create magic at Ivy and Bean and Fig and Maple, her two beautiful restaurants. Join me in welcoming none other than Chef Radhika Khandelwal. Chef, welcome to the Flavours of Europe.
Thank you so much, Sameer. I'm so glad we've got a chance to catch up.
Same here, Chef. But first things first, it's very inspiring to see you talk about things that you believe in. You've been a speaker at the UN General Assembly, Eat Forum, World Food Forum, and other prestigious platforms. To begin with, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel when you represent Indian ethos of cooking on a global stage?
Sameer, it's incredibly humbling and an honor to represent the rich culinary heritage of India on a global stage. When I speak at forums like the UN General Assembly or the World Food Forum, I'm always very thrilled to convey to the world about the philosophy behind our food and how much we value the concept of eating seasonally and locally.
That's true. We've culturally always been that country, and it's really nice to see how we continue to discover this knowledge. There are usually two types of people: the ones who always knew what they wanted to be, and the second ones who stumble upon the profession. Tell us about how you found your way into this field.
I fall into the second category for sure. Originally, I was just a university student in Melbourne, working part-time as a server to support myself. My main culinary expertise at the time was limited to perfecting the art of instant noodles. However, one hectic evening, everything changed. Amidst the rush, something clicked for me. I realized that this is where I truly belong.
Wow, you never know when inspiration can strike, and looks like you really thrive in dynamic environments.
Oh yes, you're absolutely right.
Since we are talking about food, let's also discuss European ingredients. Now, Europe as a continent is very diverse. Are there any specific cuisines or ingredients you vouch for from the European Union?
Europe's culinary landscape is very different from the way people tend to see it. For instance, Scandinavian cuisine focuses on foraged ingredients. The use of techniques like fermenting, smoking, and pickling in Nordic countries reflects a culinary practice that is both sustainable and innovative. Similarly, Polish pierogies highlight the diversity of dough-based dishes that go beyond just the pasta.
That's very fascinating for me. For the longest time, I think people had that misconception that pesto was Italian for basil, but I think people are now realizing that pesto is an Italian word for crushing or grinding ingredients.
That's a great point to bring up. Pesto indeed has a fascinating history that goes beyond just the classic basil-based sauce many of us are familiar with. The term pesto comes from the Italian verb pestare, which means to pound or to crush, referring to the traditional method of making the sauce using a mortar and pestle. While the most renowned version of the pesto is the pesto alla Genoa, made from basil, garlic, pine nuts, Parmigiano Reggiano, pecorino, and olive oil, the concept of pesto is way more versatile.
Do you think that food transcends boundaries?
Personally, I believe that yes. Whilst it is important to strive for authenticity, I also believe there should be more room for experimenting. For instance, the way pizza is adapted and enjoyed in India, with local toppings like paneer or tandoori chicken, may make people say, hey, that's not a real pizza. However, these variations are a great way to celebrate fusions. As far as your question is concerned, I feel food indeed transcends boundaries.
But the way I see it is, with time, your work has become more popular around the world for the innovation you infuse into your dishes. Can you tell us about a few fusion dishes that have taken diners by surprise?
It is tough to pick only a few, but I do have two dishes that stand out for me. The first one would be the khandvi ravioli with prawn bisque. This dish is a prime example of Indo-Italian fusion that merges the delicate turmeric-flavored Gujarati snack with Italian classic ravioli. Ravioli is a type of pasta made from a dough consisting of flour, egg, salt, and water. These are crafted into pasta pockets, which are then filled with various ingredients such as meat, cheese, or vegetables. The next hatke combination, waffles with pori chicken. This dish takes the beloved waffle and pairs it with South Indian pori spiced chicken. And I use chicken from Denmark to enhance the quality of the dish. The concept was to marry the crisp, sweet waffle with the fiery spice of pori, creating a sweet and savory contrast that's unexpected yet harmonious.
Do you find any similarities between European Union and Indian cuisine? And do you think we can infuse European Union ingredients into Indian dishes?
There are fascinating similarities between Indian and European cuisines that provide a rich foundation for culinary fusion. Both traditions value the depth of flavor and have a history of using diverse herbs, spices, and high-quality ingredients. Also, we share a very similar philosophy of cooking. I think both us and the Europeans take pride in preparing meals with fresh produce because we can understand that it can make or break a dish. Another similarity that I've noticed is delicacies specific to festivities are taken very seriously, and it's a whole feast for the family. If you look at the salted cod, despite its European origins, it has become a celebrated ingredient in Goan households. Similarly, our traditional mithai has had such an interesting revamp with the inclusion of chocolates from Ireland and other European countries.
And while the quality of ingredients plays a key role, I also think that the authenticity of the ingredients also makes a huge difference. So, what are some of the ways to ensure that the ingredient that you're consuming is authentic?
Okay, so thankfully, Sameer, the European Union is very stringent about the way ingredients have been sourced and produced. To make sure that consumers know whether it's authentic, they have two labels in place. These labels are called PDO, which is the Protected Designation of Origin, and PGI, which is the Protected Geographical Indication. The PDO label designates product names with the strongest ties to the specific place where they are made. All aspects of production, processing, and preparation occurs within the defined region. Whereas the PGI label establishes the connection between a specific geographic area and the name of the product, indicating that certain qualities, reputation, or characteristics of the product are essentially linked to its origin. So when you see a product with either of these labels, you can be rest assured that the ingredient you're consuming is genuine and authentic.
Those are some very important tell signs, chef. Now, when it comes to cooking with the high-quality produce, you immediately think of Europe. Tell us about a few authentic European ingredients that make you say, okay, yes, I can always rely on these without having to worry about the quality or safety of the produce.
You know, Sameer, as chefs, the joy of cooking really starts with the kind of ingredients we get. There are quite a few European ingredients I can vouch for, and I'll try to keep the list as short as I possibly can. I'll start with my favorite, which is olive oil from Spain. The rich flavors and the rigorous quality control are something that gives me assurance that it is of exceptional quality. Another one, which I think is incredibly unique, is Spanish saffron. It has this intense color and is so aromatic. Once you start using it, there is literally no turning back.
I understand that feeling. Taste these once and they eventually become an essential part of your kitchen.
You're right. And it's funny how without these ingredients, even the dishes feel incomplete. Just the other day, I missed adding cheddar slices from Netherlands to my toasty, and in one bite I knew, nah. And luckily for me, I also really enjoy ingredients like Greek cheese cubes from Denmark, cheese from Malta, fish from Spain, white balsamic vinegar from Italy, and green apples and pesto from Italy. What I usually do is, I pair the fish and the Gouda from Holland to create a smoked mackerel and Gouda quesadilla. Last but not the least, premium cured chicken breast from Denmark, onions from Slovenia, and jalapeno chili peppers from Spain are a few of my regular picks that I can't go a day without.
Lovely. And do you like digging into desserts as well?
Not a big fan of sweets per se, but sometimes I do give into my cravings with mini strawberry lattice from France, chef pie from Czechia, and pain au chocolat from France. Sometimes I also whip up a strawberry bread pudding using juicy strawberries from Finland and a nice crusty bread from Lithuania.
Nice. Looks like you really trust European ingredients.
Indeed, I do. Ultimately, when it comes to safe and high quality produce, European ingredients always have your back.
Why do I sense that there are a few more ingredients that you want to talk about?
Oh no, was that obvious?
Well, I think every chef gets excited seeing great ingredients. And though I'm not a chef, I do resonate with the feeling. So go on, give us a sneak peek into more European ingredients you really enjoy cooking with.
There are few dishes that I really like creating. They're almost like an extension to my version of comfort food. With olive oil from Spain and eggplant from Greece, I really like creating baba ganoush. Every now and then, I also enjoy baking. So I use red currants from Netherlands and butter from Denmark to whip up the most crumbly, moist cookies. Another dish that's filled with wholesome flavors is the spicy heirloom tomato and walnut soup, made from walnuts from France and wild heirloom tomatoes from Netherlands. But lastly, I get together with my family over the weekend and all of us together make these super gooey dark chocolate and black cherry muffins using 50% dark chocolate from Belgium and black cherry fruit spread from Austria.
That's it. Please, chef, I'm hungry now. A lot of European ingredients are also produced using sustainable methods. Do you think the European Union is doing a good job with the sustainability practices in place?
The European Union has been at the forefront of integrating sustainability into its agricultural practices and food production, which is incredibly important to me as a chef who champions sustainability. The Farm to Fork initiative ensures that the use of fertilizers is reduced by 20%, which is a lot. Whilst also ensuring that dependency on pesticides is significantly lower. The European Union walks the talk when it comes to ensuring that sustainable practices are followed. Just witnessing this change makes me so happy. It gives me hope that we are heading towards a better future for sure.
A lot of young chefs, especially Gen Zs, are slowly becoming mindful too. They don't just want to eat right, they also want to make sure that they can do their bit for the environment. What is that one advice that you'd like to give to them?
Practice sustainability imperfectly rather than not at all. It's crucial to understand that sustainability isn't an all or nothing game. Start small, perhaps by reducing waste in your kitchen, sourcing sustainable ingredients when possible, or experimenting with plant-based dishes. Each action may seem minor, but collectively, these efforts create a substantial impact. Don't be disheartened by setbacks or overwhelmed by the scale of the challenge. Sustainability is a journey. Embrace the learning curve and keep pushing forward, even if it's one imperfect step at a time.
Well, thank you so much, Chef. It was really inspiring getting to know more about your journey.
Thank you for having me, Sameer. It was a pleasure to be here.
The pleasure was all mine. Thank you so much.